Hello, hello, hello. Welcome into the channel, guys. We are going live here for our weekly Wednesday night show. I'm going to give people a minute to hop on here. So if you're watching the recording, chill out. We are in pre-show. I want to get all my stuff adjusted and set up and such. Welcome in, live peeps. We are just finishing up a packed shipping day here at the warehouse. Currently getting the second warehouse set up, which is like we have this nice little cubby to ourselves now. So we have our warehouse here, little like dead end parking lot, and then about 20 feet is how far away the second warehouse is. So we're getting that set up. We've got our first shipment out of there tomorrow, which is a 3,000 unit shipment. One of the reasons we got that space was because we have a couple of heavy hitter clients that just came in, and they're going to be shipping some volume, so we needed some extra space. So it's not just crammed tight in here during shipping. So I've got to get all that set up. Got two conveyor belts that are going to be here. Not belts, two conveyor, the flexible gravity. What's the technical term? It's a flexible gravity roller is what that is. So we have two of those coming on Friday. It's going to be a busy week. Let me get this adjusted. We got the wife coming in just a second. She's getting some shipping finished up real quick. And then she'll be joining us shortly. Let me know how everyone is doing in the chat. What's up, Gretchen? How are you, my friend? Resell Hobo. Has it started for anyone? I keep refreshing. We are running just a few minutes late here. We had to finish up a shipping batch before we can hop over here. All right. So let's dive in, get the chat warmed up. This is open Q&A sesh, answering your questions about Amazon FBA, Prep Center Life, eBay, Poshmark, anything reselling related. That is what this episode is dedicated to. We want to be here and help you guys out. And that's why we even have this YouTube channel, right? Like anyone who is a YouTuber, I mean, yeah, there's tons of ways you can monetize and make it into a great income stream. But any of us who do YouTube, we do it because we genuinely love producing content that helps people out. Got Mark in the house. What's up, man? When we having card talk. Hold on. Let me see. It says Facebook user. I got to log in on here real quick. On the, I think that was in the Amazon group. All right, let me get logged in here so I can see who we're chatting with. For those of you that have not given permission to StreamYard on Facebook. Paul, what's up, man? I know nothing about cards, but I'd be curious if you have any experience with sealed games. That's kind of what I've been hitting lately is sealed retro games. All right, so we've got the chat pulled up here. And we're going to wait for Trista to come in here, and then we'll start the official show. So let me know how everyone is doing in the chat, where you guys are watching from, and how your day was. I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but our day was awesome. Got a lot done. My focus today, I didn't personally help out much with the actual shipping for FBA clients because my day was spent in the second warehouse and just making a list of the supplies I need, starting to locate those supplies. The two big ones that I guess one type of supply, but two units that I really needed to get were two more of the gravity conveyor rollers. They got the little like skate wheel style on there. So those things have been awesome. We got one that we've been using. It's a 24-foot when it's extended out. It's like a giant slinky. These things are amazing. So we got one of those. It's been phenomenal ever since we've been using that. But with the second warehouse, the problem then became, and I'm just going to share like one of our bottlenecks. Our problem then became all of our UPS packages come delivered to us in what's called a pub trailer, which is just a small trailer that UPS will load up and bring here. And they're bringing it to our main warehouse door when the other warehouse is like 20 to 30 feet across the little parking lot. So I wanted to get one conveyor to go from the trailer to that building so we can just push the packages that have to go over there. for these specific clients. I wanted to get a conveyor for that. And then we need a conveyor inside the building as well. So fortunately, I was able to score 2 of them off Facebook Marketplace. Worked out a deal. They're 3.5, 4 hours away. Their company, welcome in.
Thanks. I had to get my own chair, but it's fine.
I think you've had to get your own chair every episode so far. I'm so sorry. Let me fix this.
Okay.
Let me fix this. I should probably put the camera on the other side so I don't have to like reach across so much. There we go. So, yeah, I got 2 conveyors. Scored a really good deal too. They extend out. They're like new condition. These things are mint. They're beautiful. And they're steel too. The ones we have now are the plastic rollers, which is completely fine because our buddy Sam hooked us up dirt cheap for this thing.
Yeah, we love that.
It's been great. These ones are the steel rollers. They look phenomenal in the photos at least. And we scored both of them coming to us, being delivered. The company just happens to be delivering 30 minutes away. So we got all in with delivery $2,200 for both of them, which is awesome. Those things are like $2,000 to $3,000.
Jeff Nichols.
What?
You are
Jeff,
a beast.
That does not, I would expect nothing less from Jeff than to get $4 of them. That's insane, man. It's so funny
I wish I knew. It sounds so bad and morbid. Wish I knew of a business going out of sale or out of.
I went inside when I cleared out the Toys R Us servers, out of their server room.
Yeah.
I got to go in the back of a Toys R Us when they were going out, like many people did. And at the time, we only had the 600 square foot space for like our first office. No room for a conveyor at all. We didn't have a use for one at all. And I passed up on like 5 or 6 of them at $100 each. Because back then I didn't know any different. Now I know I should have bought them anyways and just flipped them, even though we wouldn't have used one. But now I see those deals. I'm like, dang it. So nice work, Jeff. Yeah, that's a huge tip, by the way. If you guys are ever looking for warehouse style equipment or supplies, always check Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, even OfferUp. And some of these companies don't even market on those platforms. So you might have to go to actual like auction sites too, local liquidation sites, and look for closing stores because you can go in the back rooms and find dirt cheap stuff. Like freaking Jeff here getting now I'm all mad. I was so pumped for my deal. And now Jeff comes in with the $150 a pop. Dang, man. That's awesome though. I'm slightly jealous, but super happy.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to look around my mic. Let me just do this.
There we go. That's more better.
Beautiful.
I'm going to try to talk tonight, but I was eating trail mix in the car and almost died because I was choking. My throat really hurts because I was choking on nuts.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Oh, you got coffee. Do you want this?
No, it's okay.
Oh, man.
I hesitate to say that I was choking on nuts because I know that.
You know that's just going to be a meme now.
There is a screen. Not say these things on the internet.
There's a screenshot happening with the audio being pulled with no context, and now you're just going to get blasted on the internet.
Here I am.
Trolls attack.
Do what you do.
Yeah, so that's kind of like our update of the day is scored 2 of those conveyors, which even though I'm paying way more than Jeff did, I'm pumped for them.
I think everyone's paying more than Jeff.
I never in my life thought we'd be at a point where I get so excited about equipment. And you don't understand that when you are just like a normal seller in your garage or your home.
Yeah.
Like we never did. But when you get a warehouse, man, your brain starts to operate in a different tone. You get excited about really dumb things. But I'm definitely enjoying the deal that we got. So next on my list, I've got to figure out like we have like 2 tables in there. We need like 10 tables. So we've got to figure out tables, polybags, tape. I've got to do orders and get all this stuff. Now we're coming up with supply order checklist. Trista came up with a really good PAR method, which is like a minimum we'll have of each one on hand. And then we can utilize some lean manufacturing stuff, which is Kanban cards. And that's like, you guys can go down the rabbit trail on YouTube on all that. So we'll get notified every time we need to place orders. So it's not me anymore going around going, okay, we have 3 of these. We're probably good. How many of these? Like, we don't do that anymore. It's just all going to be on a checklist. Here's what we've used. Here's what needs ordered every Monday.
Yep.
or not even every Monday, if we can buy them in bulk and save on that too. By the way, Sam, I don't know if he watches these, but shout out to my man Sam. Give me a tip for boxes and getting them cheap.
Great.
Delivered. So I gotta tell you.
Yeah, if you guys have any box tips, we buy a lot of boxes from Lowe's, and
not anymore.
Don't like the Home Depot ones, and so there we go.
All right, crew. We are here for you guys for tonight. So questions.
Mm-hmm. I have a really good story.
Trail topics.
Who wants to hear my story?
I'm intrigued now. I want to hear this.
So I've had this. You know this story already. I told you. I've had this Patagonia jacket cross-posted.
Oh, it's a good one.
On 2 platforms. I've had it on eBay and Poshmark. eBay, remind me, 75? I had it up for 75?
You had it up
or
for
85.
80.
And then,
no, 88.
Okay, so 88. I had it on Poshmark for 99, and I know that's kind of high, but it's vintage. It's in perfect condition.
Perfect.
And so I had it up on these 2 platforms, expecting to take a little less because I knew that I was coming in pretty hot. So Charles has been battling this eBay customer for like 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, but a long time, like a week and a half or so. And they would come in at like 45
back and
for
forth.
my $88 Patagonia jacket.
I even did a counter at 60, and I'm like, that's pushing it.
I didn't like that.
I didn't tell you about that. I knew you probably saw it though, because you have the app on your phone too, so I know you see my stuff.
I was like, hey.
I even did counters, and we went back and forth like 4 or 5 times on these offers.
So
and late at night one night, Trista's like,
is this your story or my story?
No, I'm just giving my perspective. It's late at night looking at your phone, and you like nearly had a panic attack.
I got full asking price on Poshmark for $99.
Pretty sweet. And how much did you buy that for? Or was it so long ago?
Yeah, I know, it was so long ago. It was anywhere between $10 and $12, I'm going to say, in that range.
Was that normal Goodwill? Or was that Ben's Find?
No, it was...
No, that was...
wholesale thing that we did.
Yeah, that was part of the wholesale lot that we got.
Yeah.
We still got a couple boxes in the garage. We got to go through that stuff.
So, my story is just to illustrate that being on 2 different platforms, well, it's a pain, is also super helpful because you're tapping into 2 different customer bases. Whoever shops on Poshmark, I guarantee did not see it on eBay for $10 cheaper. And so they bought it for full price on Poshmark. And I'm really surprised that they didn't try to send an offer. They just bought it.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever, I'm going to go with it. So
it's a win. Super
excited and makes me really pumped. I've just been listing on eBay and now I'm like, dang, I really got to get back onto Posh and show Poshmark some love. So
I guess we haven't.
My new project for the week.
Yeah, if you guys aren't following us on Instagram, that's where we do a lot more like here on YouTube. Usually you'll get a once a week video like this where we kind of give an update what's going on in our lives and our business. And on Instagram, it's more so like day by day. We're posting stuff behind the scenes on stories mode. So we did get I think we mentioned that the last show, we did get a second warehouse space like I was telling you guys about right next door. It's another 1,800 square feet, perfect for like the little bit of growth that we need to hit over these next few months. And the cool part is Trista's got this like 10 by, would you say 20? Like this is a 10 by 10 room. It's probably like a 10 by 20 space now where like she gets to build out her office. So we went to our garage, which is where you've had all of your Poshmark stuff. So we've got the giant,
and I hate going out there because it's like
it's cold.
It's cold. I've got like a bajillion strollers out there, and Charles's weight equipment, and camping, and
it's a
suitcases.
Garage.
It's a garage.
All the garage
it's not fun to be out there.
Yep.
So I hate going out there, and I hate working out there. So I just didn't do it because I didn't like it. So
what's the box you have? Havoc's?
I have a Havoc's HAVOX, I think.
The big old walk-in photo box.
Yep.
So Trista got that hauled over here. You're starting to bring all of your stuff. So she got like a little office set up. It's twice as big as mine and much brighter because I have dark walls now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing
Exciting.
video footage behind the scenes, kind of as part of our eBay reboot series that we're doing. So you'll be able to show your perspective of building that out.
Yep. So, you missed a question.
Oh, I want to start back at the old questions first. So you got to keep it fair.
Gretchen's here. Hi, Gretchen.
I know.
And Scott. Hi, Scott.
All right. So yeah, if you guys have questions, this is totally your night, open Q&A sesh. I mean, it doesn't have to be about reselling. If you give us a topic, we will rabbit trail off of it. Nice. Found a 3-cent video games yesterday. That's amazing. Yeah, 3-cent games are definitely alive and active. All right, here's a great one to start with. Just got approved to sell on Amazon. What now?
Now what?
That's a great video title I should do, which is you got approved on Amazon. Now what? What am I ungated for as a new seller? So many things we can talk about here. So little time to do it. So focus on what you are approved to sell. I think there's too many new sellers that are so focused on, oh my gosh, I'm gated in all these categories. I can't sell this. I can't sell this. Focus on what you can sell. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff you can sell. So we have one of the guys on our team. He has sold hundreds of thousands of dollars on Amazon himself. And we were talking about this last week or the week before that when he was here. And he was saying the same thing. He said that he's gated in all the main brands and categories all new sellers are gated in, especially in toys. So he focused on the few categories he could sell in the brands, and he just went all in on it. And he sold like $200K worth of products. So that was proof that even as a new seller, you can come in and make great money on these open categories and brands.
What are open categories? I'm asking because I actually don't know.
Yeah. So when you first sign on to Amazon, so the video game category, I always get asked about this one. I have an old account, so I never had to go through this, but I've had several new sellers, and please someone inform me if this is true or not as a new seller, that video games was gated for the first like 60 days. I've been told that by multiple people. I never had to go through that, fortunately. I never had to work hard for categories, by the way. I'm very open about that. People are like, how'd you get ungated for Under Armour and Nike? I'm like, I had to do zero work. I was grandfathered in or I got auto approved. New sellers have to put in the legwork to get approved for these things using distributor invoices for the most part.
And that's not because we have a YouTube channel, you guys. It's just because we've been selling a little longer.
No, yeah, that's a 5.5-year-old Amazon account that did that.
It is. Yeah.
So open categories, toys, you can sell toys. You're going to have to be careful. You have to go spend time scanning and make a list of all the brands. Here's what I recommend to people. Go scan. So if you're talking about toys, a lot of those brands are going to be gated.
Use your seller's app.
Yep. Use your seller's app. Start scanning. Make a list of all the brands that are popping up as restricted. And those are the ones that you go for as far as getting approved for, which you can do through eedistribution.com as a toy middleman wholesaler. They have very high markups, so very little profit to be made there, but you're not looking to make profit. You're just looking to get an invoice. And sometimes you have to lose a few bucks to do that just to get approved. So toys, you can get your foot in the door, but you need to be ready to do what it takes to get approved for those. Books are always they're the most labor intensive. Let me start with that. There's a reason I don't do books anymore. Yeah. We got burnt out on those. Start with books because you can get them very cheap. You can get a crazy ROI on them. And typically you can get a lot of them fairly simply, whether thrift stores, Goodwills. If you want to go on Craigslist and look up lots, some people are doing liquidation pallets of books that you can go and buy. Be careful with the cherry pick stuff if you're going down that route. But I like to tell people to start with books, even though it's not a fun category at all. Some people make 7 figures just doing books. So I'd love to tell people that because it's an easy barrier to entry and it's going to help you learn how to read a Keepa chart when you're looking.
I was just going to say.
Yeah. So we usually tell people that because it's going to teach you how to look at a Keepa chart, determine if it's a good buy, if it's even selling, how many sellers are on it, all that good stuff. It's a low buy cost, so you can get started with like $100, $200, somewhere in that range. Start getting some shipments send in. It's just going to teach you more than anything. So books are usually one of the best ways to do it. And then your major categories, so grocery, awesome category to get into. And off the top of my head, I don't know if a new seller is gated in the whole grocery category. Grocery is one of those weird ones. It used to be part of the big three, which was grocery, beauty, personal care. Now it's personal care and beauty in the same category. Used to be the three were separate and they were the big three you had to get ungated on. Then grocery came approved for everybody, and then it got closed again. I don't know if it came back open. So someone let me know in the comments below. It's tough as more of a seasoned account. I have to always remember and try to keep up to date on all the new things that are rolling out. But books are definitely one of the ones I usually recommend people go for.
Yeah. And beyond that, like Charles said, use your seller's app to make sure that you're ungated in the things that you're actually scanning. Some of these other softwares or apps that you can download don't actually show you if your account is truly ungated. It will look like it. And then when you go to send it in, that's not the case. So use the seller's app and then download the Keepa extension so that you can start looking at Keepa. It is...
And Keepa's got the app now too.
They do have the app.
Which is phenomenal. You can scan the product.
That is hands down, like if you're going to pay for anything, Keepa is what you need to be paying for. It gives you the data that you need to make good decisions based on actual numbers rather than I like the packaging or or this looks like it might taste good, so I'm going to send it in. So download Keepa and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, there's a whole video series I need to sit down and map out and make. Essentially a course without being a course. I just want to put it up on YouTube for free and break down every single thing you need to know as a new seller. Because it's such, the whole like, where do I go now? Like there's 4 hours worth of conversation to have right there.
When I will officially start sourcing, when's the best time to prepare an FBA shipment? Yeah, 50 units or more is good. Get as much in as you can, but at the beginning, just know that you're not going to make a ton of money. Even if you ship in 20 items, you're getting the practice and kind of building those muscles on how to create a shipment. Using Seller Central is a pain. So that's another like just thing that you kind of have to teach yourself on. And so using Seller Central, checking in your own items, pricing things, watching prices tank or come up, just all these things that you have to get used to. It's not like you just send it in and then you get the price that you expected to get. There's price changing you have to do. And so don't worry so much about getting 50 in right away. If it were me starting out, I'd get a good decent shipment of 5 to 10 SKUs with, maybe 10, 20, 30. If you can get 50 units, great. But just get the practice in too. Don't worry so much about making 100% ROI right out of the gate.
I would say minimum 30. Here's why.
I don't know why I said 20.
20
that was bad.
20 is low.
Don't take that advice.
I would say, I would actually say, if I'm giving out personal advice, I would say minimum 50. It depends on the weight of the product.
That's true.
So here's why I say minimum 50. You can go as low as 30 if you want to. I mean, if you've got some like crazy, like you're making 200% ROI type of products, like, yeah, send in 10, right? But you will pay more in shipping with UPS. So if you have 50 units, and let's just say they're all magically going down to the same location, which is the best case scenario. They're all going down to the same location. The more weight that you have in that box, typically the better discount you're going to get. So if you only have 10 items and they don't weigh much, Amazon now, I mean, there was a time not too long ago that a lot of us didn't really say it, but none of us were putting in box dimensions because you put in the weight and that was it. There was a little tiny print that said box dimensions optional on accounts, and I didn't input box dimensions for like 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
The Amazon police are going to
And then Amazon police
you.
came and got it. And they started requiring dimensions again. So now the price has gone up a little bit because they're going by dimensional weight. So if you have this, you know, a large Lowe's box, the type that we use is a 24 by 18 by 18. And if that box only weighs 10 pounds or 20 pounds, you're probably going to be paying closer to $1 per pound, maybe even more, depending where it's going. Versus if that's a 40-pound box, now you might get away with paying 25 cents per pound. So that's why I tell people I prefer, if you can get 50 minimum units, you know, settle for 30. That's fine.
If you're sourcing books, it'll go fast.
Yeah, you'll get some weight in those boxes, no problem. And you won't fill up a large box with books. Those are small boxes to make 48-pound boxes.
Eduardo. Don't forget Eduardo.
Where am I? Oh, up here. I'm still confused on how to send my first shipment to Amazon. I sell mostly video games and consoles. I know I have been losing money selling on eBay. Oh, Eduardo, you've been losing a ton of money selling that stuff on eBay, especially the market right now on just collector's items, video games in general, especially older consoles. You know, if you're talking like N64, Sega, PS, all those old school ones, man, you can make Wii, especially, you can make a ton of money on Amazon. Amazon customers are willing to pay more. You run a risk of slightly higher return rate from what I've grasped in the video game category with that. It's not bad at all though. So don't let that part like, oh, I'm not going to do it. But if you're confused on how to do your first shipment, one of our first videos, I think it was my second video I ever did, showing step by step how to do an FBA shipment. That's on our channel, so you can go check that out. It's from 2015, so there's parts like we didn't have box contents back then. There was no need to enter box contents.
Those were the
on
days.
That. Yeah, that was just like a great time. So box contents wasn't really a thing back then. So I didn't really show box contents page in that video for that reason, because we didn't have it. But for the most part, if you're doing a Seller Central shipment, the pages are all roughly about the same. So that's going to give you a very good idea on where to go with that. Your box contents page will be the biggest difference. Plus, there's tons of other YouTubers that have done updated videos on how to do your shipment. So if you haven't, I would sit down and follow along with not just our video, but the other videos that you find on how to do a shipment. I'm actually, this Saturday, I'm going to be recording literally start to finish how to do an entire FBA shipment with Inventory Lab the way that I do it. I'm not just talking, most people will do like a little bit of a screen share. Here's how you do this, and then the video is done, or they'll just talk at the camera. I can't stand that. If you're going to teach someone something, I want to do it the right way. So I'm going to show the products on the table. I'm going to show myself checking them in, entering the data, why I choose certain settings, how I do certain things, then put the camera back on the table and show the prepping of the products, showing the box contents portion, boxing it up to the final shipping labels. I'm going to show all of it step by step. And it's a decent size shipment, so it's going to take me a while to film. And there's products in there I don't want everyone just to see publicly and then hop on out of nowhere. So I have to get those shipped in, sell through them, and then I'll post the video. So it might take a month or so until that video is up, but that will give a very accurate, nothing left behind, step by step breakdown of what to do. I feel like that's what built this channel originally. Was I was very detailed at how I showed how to do shipping, how to do sourcing. I love teaching. It's just one of the things I love to do is teach people. And I see a big gap from typical content where it's like people are trying to teach, but the video is either way too long or they're missing fine details down to like click on this box for this reason. So I want to make sure I cover everything inside of that Inventory Lab video.
Oh, show. So
there's your sneak peek on video that's going to drop soon.
Now you're going to have someone ask tomorrow, is it out yet?
Did you film that yet? Is it done, bro? All right. Where did we leave off up here?
Mark right there.
Hey, what's up, Mark? Chaz and Trista, I have a question. I got an email from Amazon requesting a safety product sheet for some brand name games, any ideas, I would reach out to the manufacturer, reach out to potential distributors that might have those safety requirements. I sent one in. This was like a year ago. I got hit with one of those. I just reached out to a distributor I found and asked them if they had that, and they did, and I sent it in, and it worked. So that's the way I would do it. But yeah, reach out to the brand first. If for some reason they ignore you or don't get back to you, don't want to give it to you, go to distributor level and see if you can hunt it down that way. Yeah, Gretchen nailed this one. There's multiple ways you can be gated. You can be gated by the brand, by the item, by the category. Best is to check individual items. Yep. The biggest mistake I see new sellers make is, hey, Chaz, I bought a bunch of products from Walmart and I went to do my shipment and I found out I'm restricted. You should have known that before you bought it. Scan every single item, please. And like Gretchen said, you can have a category restriction, which is, let's just say beauty, which I'm pretty sure that's an open category for everybody. Let's just say beauty though. You can have beauty, but you can, or I'm sorry, I'm going to use grocery because I know the brands in grocery.
I was like, well, I'm waiting to see.
My thought process was
brands you pull out of your
was
hat.
going to brands. I'm like, I don't know beauty brands. And I'm not even going to try that. So you can be gated in grocery. That just means you can't sell groceries. If you are approved for grocery, then you get down to the next level, like Gretchen said here, which is by brand. So you can be approved to sell groceries, but Jiffy, the peanut butter, might be restricted for you. Then you have another one, which is you might be approved to sell grocery. You might be approved to sell Jiffy, but there's one Jiffy listing. You're approved for all the other ones, but for some reason, this one listing is restricted. That happens for me and Nike stuff a lot. I'm approved for Nike. I'm approved for all the different Nike things, but there's certain listings in Nike that I'm just like, that big red restriction, cannot apply for it. Those are what we call hard restrictions.
Yeah, I think it might be Jif. Is it Jif or Jiffy?
It is Jif. Whoops.
I don't know. I don't care.
My brain is fried today, guys. I spent the day looking at the computer screen.
He did.
I don't know. Like, I can prep for 10 hours straight and feel great, like physical work. But if I have to stare at a screen all day like I did today, my brain's gone. Here's a fun one. Who asked this one? Oh, it's probably in the eBay group. I can't see. How's your daughter and son doing? Little man is doing great. He had his first day of karate.
It was awesome.
He came blasting through these doors like, Dad, you won't believe what I did.
The teacher pulled him aside and made him an example to the rest of the students.
Oh my gosh.
You could see the halo beaming around his tiny head. It was so funny.
It sucks because of COVID. They're only letting one parent in. And that's only for the first 2 sessions. And then you get to drop your kid off and go back in 40 minutes to pick him up.
We don't get to watch.
But yeah, hopefully I get to drop him off next time, right? I want to see him in action.
So he's good.
Doing fantastic.
Isla is sassy pants, but
she
she's good.
is a snacker. She's been eating. How do you manage work-life balance? Let's talk about that.
Work-life balance.
I no longer believe in work-life balance
what that is.
or time management. I think it's a load of crap. Where did I explain this? There was which video? Oh, we were talking to our
eBay group.
So we have our eBay February listing challenge. Shout out to the challenge group, by the way. Who's in here that's doing that? Because y'all kicking butt.
Yeah.
So we were doing a video call with them and we explained the same thing of time management, work-life balance. It's just all a bunch of BS anymore. I look at it as it's going to come in phases, like a roller coaster, right? That's just business, running a business in general, and that's really just life. So there's phases where you might need to be a lot more focused on your business, which takes time away from other things like family. I used to sacrifice my health a lot more. I would not I just wouldn't work out. I would eat garbage every day because I didn't have time to meal prep and all this. So there's phases, and you just have to look at where those opportunities are, because sometimes business might be a little bit slow, and that's okay. Spend that time with your family, right? But I think people, and I used to do this, they try to chase the perfect schedule, which is just like every single day, how can I have the perfect work-life balance? And I don't think there is such a thing.
I think that it does. There's a certain point where you can't just work all the time. And there's another line where you can't just spend all day with your kids and expect to make money, because that doesn't work either. So there is balance, obviously, but trying to come up with this perfect schedule and, daily routine that, you don't mess up and you don't disappoint anyone. It really just brings more stress on your own self and makes you feel more guilty about the things you're not getting done. So we were talking about it in our group, and just I could see, because we do it on Zoom, so everyone has their faces in squares, and I could just see a couple people kind of take a deep breath when we said, let that self guilt go. And I think a couple people did. It was good. But the point being, Charles is trying to say, there isn't a perfection. There's no, you're not going to have it 100% all the time. And sometimes Q4 is a great example of that. When Christmas is booming and we have to get shipments out, we can't spend, 4 hours at home just hanging out with our kids. We need to be here working. And on the other side of the coin, when Q4 is over and we take a break, we chill out with our kids. We take a trip.
We didn't do anything for the first 3 weeks in January.
We got nothing done.
The prep center was slow, so it was such perfect timing because everyone took, that whole 2 week between Christmas and New Year's. Clients all took time off to be with their families, which meant they weren't sending mass amounts of product here anymore. Right. So we took that time. Again, we saw an opportunity for a phase to then enter into. Now we get a lot of family time. Mm-hmm.
And it aligns with your goals too. If you want to make $2,000 this month, or you want to make $20,000 this month, that result is a direct correlation with how much effort you have to put in. Mm-hmm. So, it ebbs and flows. Let go of the self, guilt and just shame about whatever you're not getting done or what you are getting done, and feeling but it's not good enough, and kind of focus in on the things that are making you money. We talked a lot about that on our call Monday night, just about, there's FOMO, right? Everywhere. Everybody's doing 20 platforms and killing it on all of them.
Bolo.
And
Bolo. Gotta go Target, Bolo.
And they still have home cooked meals and clean houses afterward. And it's just not possible. So niche down on the things that that will make you money, and let go of the stuff that doesn't. So that's my TED Talk. Thanks for coming.
See you tomorrow.
No, I'm kidding.
No, I used to, for so long, I had that guilt, just like we all do at some point. But 2020 especially was the year that we built a prep center from scratch throughout 2020. January 2020, we did 1,700 units for the whole month when we were first starting, just a couple clients. And then we ended 2020 hitting 24,000 units in October, I think was our biggest month. And then it went 24K. November was 22-ish. And then December was 23. So about 22 to 24. So you can see that growth that happened. Mm-hmm. I learned in 2020 to give up the guilt, because I was not home hardly at all. I was here. There was a 2-month phase when COVID kicked in that our employees didn't come in. Mm-hmm. They weren't comfortable. We weren't comfortable. It was still unknown, scary COVID. And I did nothing but ship 10 to 12 hours a day for 2 months. We
quarantined all of our inbound packages for 24 hours.
I was wearing gloves when I was shipping. I bought into it.
We didn't know what was going on. It was scary.
Yeah. So point being,
and Isla was only...
She was little.
I was trying to think. She was 7 months old.
Yeah, she turned a year in May. Yeah. But point being, I spent 2020, even though I spent so little time with the family, I had so much less guilt about it, because we had that conversation of like,
Mm-hmm.
my time has to be spent on the business at least for the next 6 to 8 months, so we can get this thing up off the ground, solid foundation. And 2021 is when I can start to find a little more of that balance that we're talking about. And I feel like we've been pulling it off pretty well.
But we had that conversation initially. Yeah. We both sat down for a lot, and it wasn't just one conversation. Yep. It was over a period of a few weeks, and just realizing like, this is going to take a lot of work. This might be the hardest thing we've ever done. And it was. You have still to be, is. You know, we both kind of accepted what roles we had in that, and that he was going to be working all the time, and that I had to make sure that our little people stayed alive. So, you know.
And now the roles have turned a little bit, because now that I got burnt out on the hustle mode very quick.
And so I'm ready to go.
I'm no longer about the hustle life. And now she's the one that's like 11 o'clock. She's like, I should go in and do this. I'm like, no, you're not going to the office at 11. Like, I did that for a year. Was not fun. It helped build what we have, but you know, we're now learning to just not feel guilty about not being able to have the perfect work-life balance. And it sucks, because you scroll through Instagram and you see these people with huge sales, and then they're posting about their perfect family life. We all see right through that, right? It's not reality. Yeah. And that just gets into like, you know, social media in general, but
which we're not going to do.
No, we're not getting into that in this episode. That's for sure. So that's our take on like the time management thing. It just boils down, at least in my opinion. It just comes in phases. You have to recognize what your opportunities are and focus on what phase you need to be in to make a certain result happen. So if I see that, okay, we can tell everyone has, those who have kids can tell when they miss you, right? So I know that when my little man Ty is getting real clingy, like he misses me. So that's when Tristan and I will have a conversation like, okay, I need to be home at a decent time for the next week, so we can start to rebuild that. So I mean, it's just paying attention to those phases. And some of you need to have these conversations with your spouse because you haven't. I think a lot of you guys want a life lesson just based on our experience working together as a couple.
I feel like we're like Dr. Phil of the reselling world.
Oh my gosh. Please no.
Not really.
But here's like a lesson that we've had to learn. If you don't have clear communication with your spouse, there are expectations from both sides that are not going to be met. And the times that we've had like our biggest arguments or didn't see eye to eye are typically the times that we just haven't been clearly communicating where our focuses want to go, what our goals are for that week or that month.
Yeah.
And so I might be thinking like, okay, I want to be in the warehouse early every morning. I want to stay late. I want to ship. Like I want to build this thing this month. In her head, she might be thinking the same thing. So then when I'm not stepping up to help out with the kids for the month, she's getting frustrated because she had that expectation of me to help out more so she can work. And you guys see how that like just doesn't mesh.
Yeah.
So if
you haven't figured this out yet, we don't fit into these conventional roles of like, I stay home with the kids. I'm not built to be a stay-at-home mom. And it's not that that's a bad thing. It's just that I want a piece of this pie too. And it feels so good to build stuff. And, you know, we have these conversations all the time, just not on the internet usually, but you know, it's always like, these are the things I want to get done. And, they're your kids just as much as they're mine. Yep. And so we're partners in this.
Yeah. And it changes, you know, week by week. Tristan might want to come in here and hustle her face off, you know, early mornings, late nights. Cool. Go for it. I'm going to hang out with the kids. Yeah. Because I'm over the hustle.
Hey, Vic.
What's up, Mr. Vic?
You're so handsome. Look at that profile pic.
I know not many people even have a profile pic on here. Now that I think about it.
What's up? How do y'all deal with Amazon returns? Do you sell them on eBay? This is how our eBay store was born.
Literally, like we're doing 5 listings a day for our eBay challenge right now in February. Probably 90% of my eBay listings right now are all Amazon returns. I literally have just stockpiled them over the last 6 months. Yeah. And I'm just picking 5 items out of that box. I didn't tell you this.
But initially it was him buying pallets of liquidation or whatever when we could still do that on Amazon. And
Back in the day.
Way back in the day. So we'd get these liquidation pallets, and obviously a lot of it cannot go to Amazon. And so we were building death piles that we had no clue what to do with. We were trying to list them on Marketplace, but people weren't biting, and it's just like the pile is growing. So that's how eBay was born. And that was really like my first taste of reselling, really. Like, he was really focused on Amazon. I was still working a full-time job and helping him on the weekends when I could. And I was like, we got to do something about this pile, because at that point we were just in our garage. And so I started listing on Amazon, or I'm sorry, on eBay, and that's how it was born. And like, if you're selling stuff that has or that's super lightweight, you can get away with that really easily, which I know you are. So you can do flat rate envelopes through USPS, or you can do first class, even if it's under a pound. But there's lots of options. Definitely don't just let that stuff sit around.
Quick shout out, constant companion, for the $10 super chat for Trista's coffee fund. She will happily accept that. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Starbucks has this new cold brew, and it's...
Which one is it?
It's not new, but I keep asking for it, and they're making it for me. The Irish cream.
That one was pretty good. I didn't tell you this. So speaking of Amazon returns, I mean, some of my returns are like 6 months old because I just put them in boxes and put them away now, and they were in our garage. So now I've brought those here, and I'm slowly chipping away at them for eBay. So our UPS guy shows up, and we've got a great connection with him, and he's into fitness too. So him and I get along really well. So we're chit chatting. I don't know how the topic of socks came up. And the boxes of like Nike socks that were customer returns, but they were never open. So they're still sealed like in the poly bags we put them in when we send them in.
Yeah.
I've got white ones and black ones and different ones I sourced from Nike Outlet a while back. And they've just been sitting there. And I know I can sell them for at least like $25 each. So it's been in my head, okay, I just need to list these, but I've been working on my toy pile first. So he shows up, and we somehow start talking about socks. And he's like, yeah, man, I went on to Amazon, and he knows what we do. So he's all about the resale life. He doesn't resell himself, but
he knows what we do. And
cool backstory. His mom was like OG thrifter, sold on eBay when it first went live. Like, you had to send a cashier's check. Like, so he's all about resale life. But he's like, yeah, I had to freaking go on Amazon, and they're trying to get $30 for a 3-pack of everyday cushion max socks. And I'm like, wait, black ones? He's like, yeah, why? I went in my box, and sure enough, I have the exact pairs he was looking for. And I had 4 of them. So I gave him the 4 socks. He's like, what just happened? That's why I can't get a hold of him. But that was just a cool story.
Steve.
So I gave him the 4 pair of socks, and he's like, let me know how much to PayPal you. I'm like, no. You help us out a ton just by showing up and helping us out with the boxes.
He does.
And he's been with us now for a year, almost 2 years.
He's the one that like first started. He was our first driver at the old warehouse.
Yeah.
And he kind of coached us how to handle UPS and eventually get a trailer. And, he shows up every morning, helps us unload the whole thing. Sometimes we get 100 packages just in that trailer. Sometimes there's a full trailer, and these 2 chatty Cathys are talking away.
It's relationship
building.
Like, it's relationship
Can we unload the trailer?
Yeah, so that was just a fun backstory. He wanted to pay for them, and I'm like, no, you take those because you help us out a ton.
Yeah.
That's an example of like building relationship with a driver that doesn't necessarily mean I need to give them a cash tip. Like, if you've got customer return stuff laying around that might be useful to maybe your post office person or whoever you work with, those are great key things. And now he's willing to bend over backwards to help us out. And we have his cell number, like him and I can text if we ever need anything. And he's been fantastic. Yeah. But I thought I'd tell you that one because that was fun interaction.
Funny.
This is Charlotte.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Mr. Jeff, do you sell used items on Amazon or for eBay? For eBay? Absolutely. Oh, do you used items on Amazon
to flip onto eBay?
Or for eBay? I think he's asking just for either.
Okay. I'm confused.
I used to do a lot more used electronics on Amazon. And as the prep center grew, I just kind of stopped. I ran out of time to go do the pickup. So we live an hour away from Portland, which Portland and Salem. So Salem's like 40 minutes and Portland's an hour. Mm-hmm. So we're in this tiny little town that I used to go out and do. I would line up like 8 or 10 Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist pickups just back to back. And I would just make this huge route and do a lot of used electronics for both Amazon and eBay. Mm-hmm. Camcorders, VCRs, the typical older vintage stuff, which is weird to call it vintage now. Source items sell on Amazon or eBay. Yep. So yeah, I used to a lot more. I do miss doing that kind of sourcing. Mm-hmm. So
we used to do a ton of used stuff, not a ton, but we do like the electronics for Amazon. We don't do that anymore. And I don't know that there's any like real danger in doing it, but like we kind of just drew lines where all the Amazon stuff is Amazon stuff and all the thrift stuff is eBay stuff. Yeah. So, it's up to. But
used clothing and shoes. Yeah, used clothing and shoes is absolutely still on eBay too. Mm-hmm. Huge market there.
Yes.
All right, crew. We got a few minutes left, so if you have those questions, drop those below. We'll get those answered for you. Thanks for taking time, by the way. Hang out with us on our Wednesday night.
Yeah. I'm thinking that y'all are getting really tired of seeing us, so we might have to get some guests on here.
We haven't had a guest speaker on the YouTube show in like so long.
10 years.
Because what happened was, we had our VIP group running for several years, and we saved, that type of content for those guys. Now that we're not doing the VIP group, we're trying to dump a lot more valuable content here on YouTube as public info. So we definitely should get some guest speakers. My question: who would you guys like to see on this channel? Just typical powwow sesh. That'd be fun.
Obama.
That was I don't think so we can get random.
Him. We can't get him. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Don't know that he'd know much about reselling anyway.
What's up, Tara? Hi, all. Missed it again. I've been out RA today and picking up free used books. At least you're MIA for a reason. Mm-hmm. That's a great reason.
Free, even.
Is tactical arbitrage worth the cost, and does it work with all major retail stores? Tactical arbitrage has over 1,000 retail sites.
I feel like Alex is always adding.
Yeah.
Adding.
So yeah, they've got over 1,000 websites, and all of the major retail stores are typically in there. If they're not, you can use Tactical Bucket, which is another tool, which is kind of partnered up with them. So you can use Tactical Bucket to get custom sites. So if there's certain ones, like I submitted for one today, there was a sale that popped up on a Facebook ad, and I saw something I've sold a similar item to before for it $45 marked down to $17.99, and I went bonkers. Like I was in the middle of eating lunch, stopped eating.
I wondered why your salad was just sitting there.
I beelined into my office, started doing my research, spent $1,000 on that order. Hopefully it all goes through. We'll see. Maybe I should have went smaller, but it was too good to pass up on. So I went in. So then I looked at TA. I'm like, is this website in TA? And it wasn't. So I went to Tactical Bucket and requested to get that website in an actual CSV file that I can cross-check on Amazon.
I'll just save somebody some time. We're not going to tell you what the website was.
No, I know. I always get hit up. Like, what was the website, bro?
Just save you typing it out.
You don't even care about us. You're not giving away the bolos. Yeah. But yeah, is TA worth the cost? It's worth the cost if you're willing to be consistent with it. Like any tool, it's not worth it if you pay for it and don't actually put it to work. Same thing with BrickSeek. People are like, should I pay for BrickSeek? Yes, if you're going to use it consistently to get the benefit out of it. It's like hiring a personal trainer and showing up one day a week. Like, good luck, right? But if you show up 3-4 days a week, you're going to get better results that way. Same thing with all these tools and resources, stop paying for crap that you're not going to use consistently.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Okay, the question underneath that just goes perfectly.
Coach Hustle, what's up, man? New or used goods? Oh, man, that is an excellent question.
So I would say that we're going to give you totally different answers because we're totally two different resellers. But if we didn't sell new items and had replens that we like to sell over and over, Charles wouldn't have found that deal today.
That's true, because it was a different variation of one of my replens.
Mm-hmm. And it took him all of maybe 7 minutes to buy a lot of units.
Yeah. It was pretty sweet.
But
it's because I've gotten
what's
that
your
trend
ROI on that product? Probably.
It's 18 selling for 45.
Oh, that's pretty good.
After fees and shipping, I don't remember off the top of my head. I usually net about $12 to $15 profit on that product.
So he's happy with like between 30 and 40% usually, right?
Totally. If I can find quick flipping stuff for 30%, I'll take that all day.
I hate anything under 100% ROI.
You're one of those people.
I am one of those people. But I go to thrift stores and it's hit and miss. I walk in and it's like, this could be great or this could be actual crap. Not actual, but
actual garbage.
But it could be actual garbage. So the consistency is really hard to attain on what I do because you have to be shopping all the time to make that consistency happen. It's not that it can't happen, but it does take me a lot of time. I can't just go into a thrift store for 10 minutes and find what I'm looking for and leave. It just doesn't happen. So there's good things with both. We're going to give you totally different answers. My answer is that I love
yours is used. 100%.
I love the treasure hunt. I love finding great things and paying $1 for them and selling them for $99.
You paid $10 for that.
I did paid like $10.
That was a lie. That's only a 900% markup.
Yeah.
My answer is kind of teetering. My favorite, if we're talking simply from just a reseller treasure hunter high, is used goods. For the same reason Trista said, like when you go dig in a Goodwill and you find, like for me, one of my favorites was in our local Goodwill here, which is just a tiny one. I walked in one day, literally almost peed myself when I saw a sealed Sony Walkman in package, mint condition for, it must have been $6.99. It was about $7 or $8. Like, you don't even need to look that up. I just grabbed it and ran, paid for it. And then I ran. And I'm so mad at myself. I was new back then. So this was like 4 years ago, like just getting into thrifting world. And I listed it and took an offer for $150 the next day. Like, I know better now. I should have held out. That thing's probably worth way more than $150. But that's a perfect example. Like,
it's okay.
So I guess that technically is a new item because it's sealed, but it was.
But you'll never be able to replan that.
Yeah, like
you can't walk into.
It was in a thrift store, so I would consider that like used. So that's the treasure hunter high. I love sourcing thrift stores, garage sales. I love. Above all, garage sales is my game. Like, I can do that all day, every day. I love it.
Miss garage
sales so much. But now if we're talking from like an actual business efficiency, scalability standpoint, hands down new. The fact that I got hit with an ad because this site knows the type of products I buy. I got hit with an ad for a new markdown, and within like 7-8 minutes, I was able to spend $1,000, and that's probably at least 40% ROI pretty easily. And it's not a type of product anyone else really sources. I just know that from selling this for a while. So that scalability factor, like I have to lean towards that more so than anything, just looking at where I want the business to be. But if we're, doing it as a side hustle, hands down used thrifted items, the ROI on that stuff is just awesome. But scalability factor, and building an actual business, it's got to be new.
Yeah.
You can run a tactical arbitrage scan overnight, get up the next morning for an hour and spend $5,000 on product, that's where I have an issue with thrift stores and used goods, is the scalability factor. You can get to the point where you recruit a team, whether that's prepping and shipping, photos and listing, or sourcing. So you can scale it. It's just going to be a completely different scalability factor than if we're talking about, Amazon, which is a lot easier to scale. Oh, what is up, Keith? Long time, man. So we met Keith. Cindy's a local seller here. We met Keith at one of our warehouse sales.
Yes.
When they came in. Yeah, Cindy's been picking up our dunnage. So running a prep center that's based on OA, we fill up between 3 to 5, probably even more now, between 3 and 5 large garbage bags of the stuff that, Walmart, Target, these retailers fill their packages with that come to us: dunnage, air bubbles, craft paper, and bubble wrap. We fill up 3 to 5 garbage bags a day, and I refuse to take it to the dump because recycle won't take it. So we put out ads for people to come pick it up. So Cindy is one of those. Keith is the brother from Iowa that got to come over and meet us. That was pretty fun.
Oh no, where'd he go? Vic, good question. In order to scale RA OA, I just flipped that. I'm dyslexic, if you don't know.
Diagnosed, actually.
No, the first step is partnering with a prep center. Check.
Ooh.
Thank you. What's the best second step you would recommend? Buyers, VAs? ? If you're doing all of your buying by yourself, that I know you're doing OA, obviously, but I don't know how much RA you're doing. I don't know that I would outsource the buying necessarily. I would maybe outsource the prep that you're doing at your home. Have someone come in, teach them how to do it if you're comfortable with that, or get a family member to help out or whatever. I would outsource the time before I would outsource the money portion. Does that make sense? Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. Buying and shoppers are the last things I would outsource. And we've done it. We've hired local local shoppers for retail arbitrage stuff. We've hired shoppers many times for that. It's the last thing that I teach someone how to do because there's a lot more risk. Like, what if they run away with the preloaded credit card I just gave them, and all these different things that can happen. When now Vic, we know very well, he's one of our clients. So in Vic's scenario, we know he's doing OA, and I've personally heard a few horror stories of people that get one of their virtual assistants to the point where they're making purchases on their behalf and they ended up getting screwed over. So I'm very hesitant to ever, for me personally, plenty of people do it. I'm personally hesitant to ever give a VA control over purchasing. But the first step I would have the VA do, or the VA team, if you have multiple, is have them do all the sourcing for you. They give you the list each morning to filter down through. Yeah. When you build trust with the VA, they then can work into kind of like a project manager role where they have their own couple of VAs. The VAs might give you 100 leads to look through that day. Those 100 leads go to your project manager VA, who then filters it down to the best stuff, which might be the top 20. So then your time is not wasted going through 100 to narrow it down to 20. That 20 is already there.
Right.
That just comes through time and really training that project manager to have your eye to give you exactly what you want. So that's kind of the next step I would do, is get to the point where you can have 20 of the best leads given by the team, given to you to look through and make your buys that way. Yeah.
Basically, and it's different for everyone because it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're really heavy in OA and not much RA and you want to scale the RA portion, this is all theoretical, but basically you need to look at where are your bottlenecks, where are your hangups. Usually it's time. Most people run into time restraints before they run into, like money is always a restraint, but like a solvable restraint. What is the problem with the time? Are you spending too much time looking at these lists? Are you spending too much time prepping your own items? Are you spending too much time driving around? Look at what's the problem and how can you fix it? And what are you making the most on? What are you making the most money on? Where's your 80% for the 20% that you're putting in? Does that make sense?
Dyslexia, 20%.
No, I know, but then what? Shoot.
They got it. They got it. Yeah, and I didn't even touch base. So I was talking about the OA stuff, and I saw RA was on there too. Yeah. So scaling RA. So BrickSeek is a huge component of that. I haven't done any public like BrickSeek trainings. I've done them in private groups. I just did a 2-hour session with Chris Grant's OA Challenge group last night, which was great. So there's ways in BrickSeek I specifically do it, which you and I can chat about one-on-one if you'd like. So essentially scaling RA, you have to break down what are the roles within RA. Once you break down the roles, which typically you are going to be doing all of them, break down the specific roles that make RA run, and then figure out which one of those you can outsource first. So prepping and shipping is always first. And like you said, you partnered with an amazing prep center, by the way. I love your choice. Let me just throw that out there. But second, oh, come on. I'm damn proud of our team and what they've built. I will gladly, shamelessly plug it. The second step after you've outsourced the prep, and for those of you who don't use prep centers, have no desire to, totally fine. Hire someone in-house, literally, to come in your house or your garage and start prepping and shipping your items, because you don't make your money when you prep and ship items as a seller. You leverage your money to make money, and if you're not spending money, you're not making money. So every minute that you spend prepping items is a minute wasted that you should have been buying more product. So the next part after prepping and shipping that I would outsource is trying to figure out, when you have the prep outsourced and we're talking RA specifically, then you start to think about hiring a shopper to come out with you. And that gets into a weird area of, if you train someone exactly how to do it, you do run the risk of them just saying, well, why would I make $12 an hour with you if I can just copy this and make $50 an hour for myself?
And that has happened to us.
That has happened more than once. So I don't really hire shoppers in that aspect anymore. But what I do is I know that I'm making a list of specific products that I want to go find via RA. And then I'll hire a shopper to only go pick up those products. So I'm not teaching them how to do the sourcing necessarily. I'm just saying, hey, these locations might have these units. Here's how many I want of each. Here's how many might be in stock based on BrickSeek.
Yeah.
Here's the list. Go. You run the risk of them not finding anything, which is just part of the gig. So you have to be willing to risk losing X amount of dollars based on how many hours they're out and how much you're paying them for them not to find anything.
Yeah.
Or they might find $500 worth of profit that day. They might make $100 and then boom, you're good to go. But that's how I've done it, is I'll make a specific list of items that I'm looking for, and I'll send them out to go shop that way.
Mm-hmm. Good answer. Okay.
Hopefully. How much did we make our first month on eBay?
That was
I don't even know.
A long time ago.
Was it 4 years ago? It
was probably a couple $100.
Like maybe a couple $100.
Not much. But it was just we weren't putting in the consistency. No. So it grows when you grow it.
Yeah.
And we're, like Charles said, we focus on certain things at certain times. Yeah. We've learned that to put 100% effort to every platform and everything we do is impossible. It's just,
you can do it for a little bit, but those are the times I got burnt out. Like our eBay account, we've never focused 100% on eBay. We've always been open about that. We focus on eBay when, we put in the time because we want to focus on it, or we have a little extra time because Amazon is on the slow side. Whatever the case may be. But we've seen eBay go to like a $10,000 month, and we've seen it go as low as like a $500 month.
Those are big,
so you
nasty
can
swings,
if you look at a history chart of our eBay account, you'll see when we focus on it. Like right now we're focusing on it. We're doing 5 listings a day for our eBay challenge, and that's each. You're doing
I'm doing
Poshmark.
3.
You're doing 3? Okay. So we're doing at least 5 listings a day. And guess what? We're back in the green. That chart is going up again because we're focusing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the whole focus factor. Like, I wish we could just do 100% on all of it. And this is where just like the next conversation we can have in a different episode is talking about the proper way to recruit a team, the tasks that we have them do. We can dive into all that if you guys like.
Yep.
I flipped a few other things on her account while I was there, listed 8 things. 7 have sold already. Nice work, Keith. Hey, Bryce Allard in the house. What's up, man? He's probably rocking that fresh Florida tan. He was down in vacation for a little bit.
I need a vacation.
We both need a vacation. On a 30-day eBay grind.
He's like, you're going to Florida.
I'm supposed to take a vacation. I haven't
to visit a friend. And I'm really considering like
you're gonna hop on the plane with me?
Crashing the party for sure.
All right, we can get away with that. Coach Hustle on a 30-day eBay grind, bins and heavy listing, then vacation. Nice. Work hard, play hard, guys. All right, crew. That has been our time for the evening. Thank you so much for spending your time here.
Mm-hmm.
Much appreciated.
Yep.
And we'll be back on here next Wednesday.
Yes,
and
we will.
I don't know, maybe we'll talk about hiring, different tasks you can have virtual or real assistants do, depending which route you guys want to go. So if you guys have any more content ideas, shoot me a DM on Instagram. And we have a rolling notepad on my Evernote that I jot ideas down into.
Yep.
Aside from that, have an awesome night. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.